Hey everyone, VH here. Thank you so much for joining me today for my Basilisk guide. We're 1 week in. We made him last week. We've been using him all week. I've been getting feedback from people on stream and obviously for our own little testing where we've been seeing what he's been doing. The main reason for making this is that I've seen some just really weird things that people have been saying about him and how to use him that's just wrong. It's not even just opinion based, it's just wrong. So we're going to do this. Now, there's a couple of caveats at the start of this all. Iron Mecha only. Sorry guys. If you all want to hear a video about basic Basilisk, I haven't done it. This is about the trans version. Bear in mind, please, he's a week old. This is all new. So the stuff that I say is going to be correct. Can there be more stuff said? Yeah, sure. But I'm not going to say stuff that I'm not confident in. So we're going to leave it at that. The community as a whole in this game is very, very strange. If something hasn't been tested to the nth degree in every game mode over the course of years and years and years, people don't like hearing about it. So obviously this hasn't happened. It's a week into the game. This video isn't to be an all-inclusive guide on how to build your Basilisk and all the minutiae of it. This is to stop people making silly mistakes, to give people an understanding of what he does, and see whether they want to build him or not. So take that in mind. First up, what does he do? He's such an interesting hero, right? So we're going to talk about this first. At the beginning of each round, if there is no enemy with corrosive code on the battlefield, inflicts it on one enemy with the highest speed, grants 1 layer of kinetic destruction. Don't worry about that part. Steals 100 speed from the target for 1 round, and then gives it to the enemy with the lowest speed for 1 round, and reduces all damage dealt by 25%. So straight off the bat, he's ruining the enemy sequencing. Yeah, so the enemy team sequencing where they've got their person that's fastest, who they want to go first, is probably not going to be going first. 100 speed is a lot of speed, right? So the sublimation menu here extends the reducing of all damage dealt by the enemy with the lowest speed for 2 rounds, and the noble additionally reduces damage reduction for the enemy with the higher speed by 20%. That's obviously really nice, but this as the base part of it, once you've got him V forward, this is what he does. So straight off the bat, ruining the enemy's sequencing, potentially. Next up, when an enemy releases, this is the important thing here, right? When an enemy releases basic attacks or active skills, if the enemy's speed is not higher than self, i.e. they're slower, he does like a counter attack, and he grants 1 layer of kinetic destruction. If the target has corrosive code, additionally deals damage. If not, there is a 100% chance to inflict corrosive code on them. If the enemy's speed is higher than self, steals 50 speed from the target for 1 round. The important thing here, if you're building trans Basilisk, I'm just going to call him Basilisk, right? If you're building Basilisk, he needs to be as quick as you can make him, because this is where all the damage comes from because of the active skill. So if he's quicker than all 6 enemies and all 6 enemies do an attack, he inflicts corrosive code on them. Fantastic. If we look here, if someone happens to be quicker than him, he also steals 50 speed from them, which is obviously nice. The sub part here, if target speed is higher than self, also increases his attack. We don't want that to proc because we don't want them to be quicker than him. If the target speed is not higher than self, there is an additional 60% chance to increase self energy. If you high roll this, it can kind of ruin your sequencing a little bit, like with what rounds you're doing actives on, but we're not too worried about it because with Basilisk, what he really wants to do is a massive active on round 2. Right, so we've discussed this part so far. Reduces their highest enemy speed, gives it to the lowest enemy, also does some more damage dealt stuff, but here mainly. So at this point, we're looking at it. If your Basilisk is the quickest person on the field, and if you haven't CC'd their team, then they're all going to have a layer of corrosive code, and you are going to have 6 layers of kinetic destruction. Bear that in mind. This is the active skill. Deals 1500% of attack damage to one enemy, then additionally deals 1500% of attack damage to the enemies with corrosive code, removes it. The enemy takes 900% of target attack damage 3 to 5 times when corrosive code is successfully removed. If self has kinetic destruction, each layer will restore health by 1000% of attack, increase self attack by 9%, and deal 2000% of attack damage to all enemies. Then all kinetic destruction owned by self will be removed. If the team is set up correctly in a game mode where this works, it doesn't work in Void campaign most of the time where the enemy speed is really high. What this means is all the enemies are going to have corrosive code. You're going to have 6 layers of kinetic destruction. That means you're going to be hitting the enemy like an absolute train. you're going to be hitting them up to 5 times for 900%, plus the additional 3,000%, plus you're going to be doing 2,000% for every layer of kinetic destruction, which you should have 6 layers of. So you can see why that's just an insane amount of damage to all their enemies. If we look at the sub part of this, increases all damage dealt by 12%, reduces target speed by 50 for 2 rounds after corrosive code is removed. That's massive, because it's that if they happen to be quicker than you and you've laid on corrosive code another way, it reduces their speed, you're stealing it, and this does it again. So it's a nice way, if they do happen to be quicker than you, of building your speed up and reducing theirs. Finally, on the noble, when target takes damage because corrosive code is removed, if the target speed is lower than self, which hopefully is, additionally deals more damage. So you can see here, right? If you're allowing the enemy team to attack, they don't even have to attack you, right? Just attack in general. You then absolutely nuke on round 2. So this is why it's important that you're not, we'll go through the artifacts in a second, right? That you're not building up Basilisk with energy, and you're not CCing the team into oblivion round 1, because you don't want it to happen. Let's talk about something that was very controversial. We've just talked about his skills. We're now going to talk about his treasures. The treasures, I think, have been well overblown. If you just looked at these treasures on their own and didn't look at his skills, you'd say, well, they're really nice. But if you compare how much damage he can output if things go right anyway, yes, these are a really nice touch. These are 1-star treasures, by the way. Obviously, they go up to 4-star. So let's go through them quickly. Pink treasure. After active skill is released, deals an extra 400% of attack damage to enemies lower speed than self 2 to 3 times, can't crit, and then deals damage by 10% of target's lost HP. So that's obviously nice. Obviously, it's nice. But it pales in comparison to what already is being done. When the basic attack hits a target, if self has 3 or more layers of kinetic destruction, additionally deals 350% of the target's attack damage to backline enemies. This probably isn't going to occur loads, so we're not going to worry about this too much. Every 6 layers of kinetic destruction obtained, deals 600% of attack. That's nice. That's obviously just a nice little boost. But again, if you've built up 6 layers of kinetic destruction, it means you've put corrosive code on them. It means you're quicker than them. It means you're already nuking. Does this add to the nuke? Yes, but it's not game breaking. This one here is probably actually arguably the best part of it. At the beginning of each round, 40% chance to inflict code of overload. When the owner releases basic or active skills, deals 450% of the owner's attack damage to 2 random allies. This doesn't look that great now. It gets amazing when it's maxed out. And that's the thing you've got to realise as well. A lot of players won't have these. I've got all of them to 2-star. There's a bigger difference from having none to having 1 than there is from having like level 1 treasures up to max level, in my opinion. This one probably being the main difference one, because that goes up to 80% and 1,500%. But yeah, so treasures are obviously nice to have, but please don't worry about it. You can still build Basilisk without the treasures. They've just turned a hero that already looks incredible up a notch, but he's already incredible. So let's move on. Artifacts. I think there is 3 that you should build on him. What's really difficult with the artifacts in the game is there isn't many offensively based artifacts that don't give you energy. So Breath of Forest is the obvious one. Precision, attack, skill damage, and speed. And at the end of each round increases heroes all damage dealt by 9% and all damage reduction by 1%. This is the 1-star variant. The reason I've done this is it's really easy to look at the 3 stars, but if you haven't got it, it's difficult. So we're not going to look at the Radiant, we're just going to look at Glittery. Don't worry about it. It's mainly these things that we've picked it for, right? Precision, attack, skill, damage, speed is perfect. 300% skill damage when he can be doing like 40, 50 attacks during his active skill is insane. Attack's brilliant. Precision's brilliant. It's a shame it's only 50 speed, but we can deal with that. It's not the end of the world. The reason I love this artifact is that even if you decide Basilisk isn't for you, at the very least, you've got an artifact that you can use on so many other heroes. Obviously, if you've built it up to Splendid, this becomes insane for boss fights, etc. I mean, it's already pretty insane for boss fights. But yeah, really solid offensive artifact. The other offensive artifact, Howling Sea Rocket Shell. Crit damage, speed, all damage dealt. There was some confusion with Basilisk. Because this here says that it cannot land a crit, people thought he couldn't crit. He absolutely can crit. All of these can crit, right? So crit can be very important for him. This also increases speed and all damage dealt. The main reason, as well as obviously being a fantastic offensive artifact, though we don't traditionally like artifacts that do crit because there's other ways to get crit, but we're going to ignore that. Dynamite armor gives him what Penny gets. So from the start of the battle, when he gets controlled, he consumes the dynamite armor and offsets the control effect. For Basilisk, that's like absolutely vital, right? Because he can't get CC'd round one or round two. Like you need him unCC'd so he can nuke on round two. You need him unCC'd round one so that he can actually get his basic off, so that he can build up the energy, so he can do his active round two and absolutely destroy the opposition. So this gives that inbuilt. The downside to this is that there isn't many heroes that you'd use this on. There's loads that you'd use this on. So unless you've already got this, which I don't know why you'd have it, this is what we're probably going to be working with. And as a defensive artifact, Cloak of Soaring Phoenix. Attack, speed, control, immunity, dodge rate. Dodge rate, that looks really low, but if you read, you get 9 layers of recharge of Fiery Feather. Fiery Feather increases dodge by 66%. So really, you're using this because you want to escape round one unscathed. So once you get past round one, you get into round two with your active, bam. This is a relatively new artifact and I haven't seen like much stuff on it. So I haven't had it. I haven't used it. I will be getting it. I will be using it. If not Halloween, Black Friday, because this is what I'm prioritizing, right? But yeah, again, this is a defensive minded artifact, defensive in that it's got dodge and control immunity, would be super useful because again, everything there works in your favor and that you want that. Same as this, but this is just your all-round better artifact. Stone, Awakening, Imprints. You obviously want to build him to go fast. There's no point over-egging his speed. So whilst it makes sense to have a speed stone on him, if he is miles quicker than everyone, then you can switch it up to an attack stone or whatever stone you want. The difficult with him is that generally speaking, you say that you want holy damage for big hitters and skill damage for multi-hitters, but he does both. Like his percentages are really high. So do you want holy damage? Do you want skill damage? Why not both? That's how I'm looking at it. I think holy damage, skill damage, or you go for a speed attack. Crit is again, it's really important. There's other ways of building crit into him, particularly with the imprints. I would suggest if you're using Breath of Forest Spirit and you've already got that skill damage in there, you've got precision inbuilt and he gets precision from one of his subs, that you don't worry about skill damage. You perhaps go down the holy damage route. I don't know. This is one that this is why I've put the warning up, right? It's really hard to tell. Either way, you need speed. If you're already miles quicker, you can switch to your backup stone. And it's just a case of, right, go for here. Your awakenings, again, if you've got an awakening, it naturally has holy damage, great. If it has skill damage, great. If it has crit, great. Work off something else. Control immunity and control shedding is absolutely vital for him. So when we're talking about imprints or awakenings, control immunity can be really important. We're going to go into teammates in a second. So if you've got someone like Melissa or Elena, one or both, I would suggest you definitely have, then maybe it's not as important. But again, the issue with Basilisk, if he gets shut down, controlled, round one, it's so difficult then to win the fight. And the other thing, yeah, I've put down here, heavily account dependent. Like more so than so many other heroes, this just depends on what else you've built into your team. Like I can't see what heroes you've built. I can't see what heroes you want to build. But the idea would be, yes, you just want him to be doing more damage. There will be testing done on whether holy damage or skill damage works out best. I have a feeling it will probably be holy damage. But I don't know if there's going to be a significant difference between the two. We'll have to see how it works out. And obviously, crit is crit. Teammates. Here's the issue. It's really nice that he got given Wukong as a tenant. Here's the issue with that. Everyone builds Wukong one of two ways, and that's either Lingering Melody of the Universe or they build him with Dragon Rui Splendid. The problem with that is you don't want him stunning the whole enemy team round one because it completely nerfs Basilisk. So if you're bothering to put Wukong as a tenant for Basilisk, you need to build him slightly differently. I have gone down the route of doing a Radiant Druid on Wukong so that he still has that control, precision, etc. Because you don't mind him doing it later on in the battle. You don't want him doing it round one. And he's so strong with the shields and the damage reduction. He is a really strong hero. And that ties nicely into Sylvie. Obviously, Sylvie does shields. She does Protector's Oath. She does Taunt. So she's really cool. So they're nice. They're two nice heroes that work well together. But you're just not going to be building Wukong how you normally would. You've got to bear that in mind. Really awesome teammates for him, I think, are these guys and girls here. Norton Hague and Arania is a really nice combo. Arania obviously boosts your damage through Scorching Curse and does lots of little healings that can obviously ramp up to bigger healings. Norton Hague, every time someone gets healed, gives them a shield. He also does stuns, but it's not round one, and it's not overwhelming the amount of CC he does. So again, it doesn't seem to, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to work against what Basilisk wants to do. Freya, Melissa, Elena, fantastic supports. Queen, obviously with her Queen's Guard, is great. Like, it's a fantastic ability. And the nice thing with these is that Arena as a homeowner can have Elena and Queen as a tenant. 2 and 4. 2 and 4? 2 and 4. I don't know which way around it was. But so you've got a nice little grouping there. It depends on who else you've already got. I think, bear in mind, looking at these people that work well with Basilisk rather. Obviously, if you've already got Lord of Harassment, you've probably already got Queen and Elena. You've probably already got a Wukong. And then it's just a case of building out a Sylvie. Depends where your account sits at. In terms of artifacts for your teammates, Will of Winter reduces enemy speed. Really, really important. Depending on if they're quicker than you or not. If they're not quicker than you, you could argue it's irrelevant. but Will of Winter seems to be the most obvious and optimal thing to build out. Another reason Norton Hague's here, it's not just the stuns and the shields. He reduces all the enemy's team speed. So yeah, these are the ones that I've come across so far. The team that I've built out on the main account that we've been streaming is obviously Basilisk, Wukong, Sylvie, Norton Hague, Arania, and Elena. That's who we've kind of gone for. A lot of shields, heals, stuns, and it's nice. I really want to try it with Queen. I think Queen would be really useful for him. That all damage dealt from Queen would be incredible. So, but I also really like the idea of Melissa boosting speed and reducing, getting rid of control effects. So we'll just have to see how it works. But for me, these are the main ones that kind of pop up as the most optimal. We've built 3 of them already to go with the tenants, and with Basilisk, we've got a couple of Will of Winters. It seems to be working nicely. So yeah, that's the immediate offset. The important thing, again, I'm going to say it like the 4th time in this video, don't build Wukong or Betty as you normally would. If you've already got a Betty in your account and you don't want to get rid of her, fine. But don't build her up so she's double CCing like round 1. It just completely nullifies the point of having Basilisk. You might as well just not build Basilisk at that point because you're just completely cucking him. Right, don't do these things ever. Betty, Wukong, CC, round 1, nullifies Basilisk. I'm not going to say it again. Basilisk, more than virtually any other hero, I think, is an all or nothing hero. So you are building him and you are building around him and you are building artifacts for him, and a lot of the time it's going to be for him, right? There isn't a lot of transitions from Basilisk. I'm going to Destiny him this week, so we'll see how well that goes or badly that goes. It's really difficult. Don't be rash if you can't suffer the consequences. It's one of those, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. If it's your account and you're not sure how you want to play it, don't rush into it and just do it because he looks really cool. See how it works out. We don't obviously know what the next trans hero is going to be. We presume they're going to keep on this treasure stuff, right? So the next trans hero might be better than Basilisk. It might not be better. He might even just be easier to work into your team. Unlike Basilisk, it might be a primo support that's incredible. That doesn't work maybe with Basilisk. So just be careful with it. Don't do it if you're not prepared for the fact that he might not work out on your account with your heroes. You don't want to go all in getting a noble core and someone that you don't know is going to work for you. I'm doing it, so watch me do it. See if you like it. And he should not be your first trans. I really don't see why you'd build him to be your first trans hero. The general rule at the moment is build Wukong. A lot of people build Betty. Either or is absolutely fine. Obviously, if you go down the Wukong route, that's great because Wukong can then transition to be the main tenant for your Basilisk. But I feel like if you build Basilisk to be your first trans hero, he's going to be so inconsistent. He's either going to demolish people or get demolished. And it's one of those things that there will be no in between, right? Because he's either going to kill them all round 2 or get killed. So without the proper support surviving to help him, shed CC, etc., I just don't see him there. I don't see him being part of your team. I actually think he's more likely going to be, if you want to build an account around Basilisk, probably your 3rd or 4th trans hero rather than your 1st or 2nd. That's just my opinion. That is not a fact whatsoever. But yeah, look, guys, I'm all done. That was 21 minutes of talking. I tried not to ramble, and then I've ended up rambling for 20 minutes. It's really, really tricky with Basilisk. I love him. I think he's awesome. I'm really happy I've built him, and I'm going to continue to build him. And yeah, so I want you to follow the journey. So like and sub. Bear in mind, as I said, everyone that watches me knows I'm not an expert at this bloody game. Everyone that watches my streams know that. However, I have got feedback from people that are very far into the game that know exactly what they're doing, that have pages and pages of Destiny heroes, all that kind of stuff. They know exactly what they're doing, and they've helped me with this. So yeah, just bear that in mind. He is super fun. He's niche. I think he can be incredibly destructive. Check along for Halloween to see exactly how far we can push him once he's been destinied. But yeah, listen, guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching and listening. Like and sub. Stay safe. VH out.